Let's take a brief look at lipid digestion. Make sure you've watched the previous module on lipids and foods before watching any further so that this actually makes some sense. Some digestion of lipids happens in the stomach, where an enzyme called lingual lipase, which is made and released in our mouths, starts to break down triglycerides into free fatty acids plus one diglyceride. The rest of fatty acid digestion happens in the small intestine, which is also where most of the absorption happens. But dealing with fats in our food is mostly the job of our liver, pancreas, gallbladder, and, as mentioned, the small intestines. Our liver produces bile, which our gallbladder stores and releases into the small intestine when appropriate. Bile emulsifies lipids, which is the technical way of saying that bile helps fat disperse in water. Think about any time you've added fat to water, you'll have noticed that it, one, floats, and it sort of gathers into these large globs. If you add an emulsifier of some sort, then what you'll find is those droplets or globs get a lot smaller. That's important in digestion because there's a lot of water in our bowels, and we need the fat to disperse throughout that water for digestion to happen, for enzymes to gain access. It wouldn't do to have fat just simply float to the top of our stomachs or to the top of our small intestines. So that bile is really important. Our pancreas produces important enzymes as well, namely, in this case, pancreatic lipase. This is released into the small intestine to help break down the fat. This is really a long way of saying that problems with the liver, gallbladder, and or pancreas could all lead to difficulties with digesting and therefore absorbing fats. To recap, assuming we're talking about triglycerides, the main form of fat in our diet, then chemical digestion works something like this. A lipase breaks the bond between the glycerol and the first fatty acid to give first one free fatty acid and one diglyceride, and then two free fatty acids and a monoglyceride. These are then absorbed and enter the lymphatic or blood circulation. And the first place it goes is here, the liver. And that's where we'll pick this up in the next module, where we look at fat in the body.